Amazing Astronaut reporting in. Today we are going to be talking about the first page of a comic. The first page of a comic is ultimately the second impression of the reader. With the first page, the author should keep in mind that this is the first real shot of the story. The cover may be able to enhance the story, but this is the first true shot at the story for flow. Let's do an unusual first example for our first page. Here is the first page of The Ultimates. That's a comic where the Avengers are in a post 9/11 world. This page features a cinematic view of a war going on, with in text in bright bold white letters superhuman, ultimately telling the reader that this is about war and a new version of humanity, the superhero. And I imagine you can guess which superhero comes next. This next example is Alex Ross and Kurt Busiek's iconic Marvels. This first page is a look into the 1940s world, which I suppose would be called Atlas at that time. But in this page, they talk about 1940 events like having FDR and a man I do not think I'm allowed to mention on YouTube, but you know him as same mustache as J. Jonah Jameson, who's also on this page. The sepia tones of the page paint a almost film noir view of the world, especially with the smoking and the cars. And you gotta love how the first panel has a flame on it, referring to the cover and future events of the series. And now on to the next comic series, Secret Wars 2, which I absolutely do not recommend. It is an awful experience. Jim Shooter wrote this with some sort of trolling intent. I have no idea how to describe this comic to normal people. Just do not read it, look up a YouTube review, or read the Wikipedia. Just do not read this comic. And on the other note about the first page itself, the main topic of this video, is that opening scene. We get a view of the stars to the planet Earth. And yes, that is Earth, but it does look kind of wonky. Not sure why the color palette is a bit wrong. Maybe they were low on costs. That would certainly explain this comic series. But if you notice, even when Jim Shooter, who I should note is a master editor and has some great titles, about how the lettering flows. Lettering by Joe Rosen, as you know, on the screen. It flows quite nicely for the viewer. You go top to down, with that little curve in between panel 3 and panel 4, with Earth directly in that lettering sightline. And a note before we leave this page is that on top is this old, retro, at this point, style of introducing the premise of the story to the reader. That above panel, which we'll just call panel 0, was the standard at the time to catch readers up to speed about what is happening. And now on to our last example, which is actually not a Marvel comic. A miracle, I know. And it's more of a side note, really, that sometimes credit pages are the second page. And with this page is a whole lot of real estate, which more people should take advantage of. Here we have our main character's mom, the main character with a backpack, the main character in a proto-superhero suit, the main character's father, and again the main character. And if you look at the credits page itself, with that panel is a series of Band-Aid dots in the shape of our hero. And of course you get to see on the very top the series logo, and on the very bottom you get to see a bunch of company credits, company's logo as well. And now I don't exactly know what Funkotron is. And as for some closing notes, study Alan Moore comics and look at their first pages. So I noticed that he tends to be one of the best, if not the best, comic creators that use the first page effectively. Amazing Astronaut reporting out.